Today I want to show you an interesting editor function or editor object in Free Pascal and Lazarus, with which you can create your own um, web editor application, including PHP syntax highlighting, CSS syntax highlighting, GScript highlighting, and also HTML highlighting. In Lazarus, you can find a scene edit control um, or scene edit control elements actually, and you can already select between different highlighters predefined for the object. So from Pascal, C++, Java, JavaScript, Perl, HTML, and so on, you can find here all these different predefined syntax highlighters, and you can create your own um, application built on these editors and syntax highlighters. So to start with one of the most complex one, because many of the languages like Pascal or C++ is basically having their an own simple language. But if you want to design for the web, and most probably you want to have not just HTML code but also JavaScript code, or even you want to create web-based or web backend based applications with PHP behind, or even maybe Perl behind, then you might need to have a complex solution for syntax highlighting, not just the simple HTML, but also including other highlighters as well. So how you can create your own highlighter system is basically you start with the form, of course, and on this form you need to place a scene edit um, object, which will be the base object for the application, and basically this will be the editor in which you are writing your code, and it will be highlighted by the highlighters. And then you need to add several highlighters. Um, as you can see, we have here, or I have here already the HTML highlighter, so this one here. Then I also put here the PHP, which is here. Then we also need the CSS. If you might need to have a style sheet for your web page, then you need this one as well. And I also have the JavaScript highlighter added to this. Typically, the scene edit object itself, oops, is only capable to take one of the highlighters. So here you can see that if sorry, this is the form. So if we go to the scene edit object, then you can see that the highlighter here currently empty, but you could be able to select between the highlighters what we placed on the form. So the CSS, HTML, JavaScript, and PHP you can find here, but you could be able to attach only one to this. So we are not doing this because of course we need to have more highlighters used on the same editor. And to do this, we have here one additional component, which is this one here, and this is the scene multi-scene, which help us to add all the highlighters and use all these highlighters at the same time on the form. And it would be possible to add it directly to the form, but then we will face with an issue with this element, because if we add this multi-scene highlighter, then as you can see, you have here the default highlighter. So here you could be able to add the HTML as a default highlighter, and then you could be able to add different shames to the um, to the highlighter itself, or to this scene editor itself, by adding the highlighters here. And how you could be able to do it, that you could be able to select one of these highlighters here, and then define the start expression and the end expression. So basically, the start expression and end expression is telling to the highlighter that in which section of the text it has to be working. So we are not doing this here because to define um, the highlighters themselves, or to add them to the system, in this case requires multiple start and end expressions defined, because when you are making an HTML web page, and you are basically adding PHP code inside the PHP, or inside the HTML syntax, and you will run to the issue that the highlighter will not recognize the end of the HTML, um, definition itself, and then basically with this, it will not change over to the other highlighters, so not even for the JavaScript, or for the CSS, or for the PHP. So this is the reason, because here at the start expression we should define, what should be the start expression and end expression, but because these should be regular expression forms, um, inside the designer, it runs into to an issue, and even when it is compiling the application, and it will not be able to correctly handle this. So inside the designer, you are facing with these problems if you want to define the multi scene highlighter inside the designer. So that's why we are not doing it here. But we will define on a different way. So I'm deleting it. It's not really needed right now. And here we also not defining to the scene edit that what should be the highlighter. But we need to add we need to add this scene multi-scene highlighter to the system to work properly. So we are doing this inside the forms create procedure. So I went here to the form and selected the on create procedure, and then I added the code to the to the form create procedure itself. So here we need to define this scene multi-scene um, um, object as a variable, because we will use this to add and link it to add the shames inside this multi-scene highlighter, and then we also uh, will add it to the scene edit as the highlighter system itself. So we define it here, and then we also need to define one variable, which or where we will define the scene highlighter multi-shame, um, which will tell to the scene editor that where to stop and start the different uh, uh, different highlighting for the different sections. So it will make a difference between the CSS content, the JavaScript content, and also the PHP content. So how we do this? That at first we need to create, of course, this T multi-scene um, element, which will be the multi-scene highlighter itself. So we create this inside the T form object, and then we need to define the scene multi-scene default highlighter, which will be the HTML default highlighter. And then we start to add the shames themselves. And as you can see, we define here that at first the PHP, which is typically start with the PHP syntax start and end, and typically within these syntax areas, you are not syntax highlight HTML codes, even if you might add inside the PHP echo um, um, sections HTML definitions, but typically there's no editor which is really handling this as an HTML code, because it can be very fragmented, and the systems would not be able to clearly detect where is a code starting and ending. So here we are not taking care about this as well. We just use the usual PHP syntax section to be defining the PHP syntax. So we don't need to do anything here else, just to add the starting and stopping or ending codes or um, yeah, starting and ending characters. Then we do the same for the style sheets. So here we add another shame um, uh, object, let's say, and we are defining here again, and this will link to the CSS highlighter. Then for the JavaScript, we also doing the same. So with this, we will be able to create basically a multi scene edit um, element, let's say, which will be highlight all the four um, portion of a web page solution or web page code what we are creating in a typical PHP uh, framework, let's say. So where you are having a backend running on PHP server, and then you can generate your dynamic web pages from these codes. So this is how you basically link all together. And of course, for the scene edit object, for the highlighter property, we need to link the scene multi-scene object as the highlighter itself. So with this, we basically created the basic things, but we were not really doing anything for the highlighting, because in a normal case, or in the base case, these highlighters what we brought on the or we put um, on the form are just having the default settings, and these are let's say not really showing the or you might not want this kind of highlighting. And of course, you can extend this inside your application. So you can also hard code this inside the Lazarus design page or design screen with these um, property variables, let's say, which are inside the editor itself. And as you can see, you have several things here. You have the comment attributes, the identifier attributes, invalid symbols, key attributes, number attributes, spaces, string attributes, symbols, and variables. So these are the elements what you can highlight, and you can differentiate between the different elements on the screen. And you can also define here which files could be used for such highlighter. But of course, when you are loading the pages, uh, you don't really see these attributes themselves. So if you are inside the editor, you just load the text file, let's say, into the page, it will still recognize the shapes. But what you can also do with these editors, that you can save and load the files directly into the editors. We are not going into these details now. We are just focusing on the highlighting itself. So let's see what we can do for the PHP syntax. So here under the identifier attribute, I was setting the color of the identifiers themselves to this teal color, and I was also setting the italic for the font. So when this identifier will show up in the screen, this will have this teal color and will be in an italic shape. Then I was also setting the key attribute, which is a kind of maroon color, a kind of brownish color, and I was using the style bold, which was the basic setup. Then we have here the number attribute. I put to green, and I just left it as it is, so I was not changing anything here. String attributes, I put it into a kind of orange. Actually, this is the standard highlight color of the screen, so we might need to set this to a color what we can identify. So let's have it fuchsia. It's a very nice color. So then we have the variables. So the variables are, okay, not button text, but let's set it to a kind of blue. So let's have it blue, and it will be bold and italic. So this is what you can set up here, and you have the same kind of attributes for all these highlighters. So if you go to an HTML highlighter, you can see that I was not touching this too much, but I could be able to do this if I want, but I left it on the original syntax, and I also left the CSS on the original syntax. I only changed the JavaScript for this thing, and you can see that I was using different colors here. So gray text, then highlight color, and so on. So I was setting up this just to show how this would look like in the screen. So now, because everything is set up, and we have all the syntax highlighters set up in the system already, we can start to run the application. And when we run it, then of course we have it like a simple form, and then I was already copying some text or a web page into the memory. And if I'm copying it here, then you can see that the highlighter was doing its job, and basically it is highlighting the PHP syntax as required. And here you can see that I have the HTML syntax as well here, until I start again a PHP syntax inside the HTML, and it's basically doing its job. And then when I'm finishing the PHP syntax, it starts again or continues with the HTML syntax. So you can see the HTML code is here, and also here you can see that it's the same syntax highlighting, and actually it's very nicely doing what it is intended for. So basically, when you are changing to an PHP syntax again, then it's again nicely highlighting variables and strings and so the language key elements. So basically doing what is intended for. And as you can see, the system is also showing the line numbers here. So the syntax editor is showing this. You can also go deeper into this object and you can basically um, change it for your needs. So if you want to have a line selection, actually the selection itself you can do here, but you can't do anything here with this right now because it's not programmed. But you can even have a local menu for this system, and you can for example implement the copy paste function or whatever you need for your own application. So that's all about syntax editor solution. You can do similarly for the Pascal or C++ or Java solution, or even you can create your own syntax highlighter if you want. I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial, and if you did, then please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time, and goodbye.